Oh, oh boy. Oh man.
Why are you moaning over there?
All right. We are live.
Hello.
So, March has been a pretty big month for music. It's definitely got me excited. Got me excited for the year. Also, there was a bunch of stuff that came out like end of February that really kind of flew under the radar in the moment, and I kind of went back and there's been some bangers in amongst all the different releases, all the different hyped releases. And we've got a lot to talk about this month, so I probably won't go through like too much music news. Um, but yeah, I think we should just jump into it with The Mountain
Oh, wow.
by Gorillaz.
All right.
I wasn't expecting that right away, but I suppose it is chronologically the one that came out first.
Not quite, but
Well,
I
in
wanted to
terms of
just make
like,
sure we get. I wanted to get your thoughts on it. If you have to hop off later.
that kind of didn't it? I thought it came out in the end of February. But either way,
Yeah, but we
doesn't really
have like
matter.
Casino and a couple of my
Oh,
albums
sure,
came out even
sure,
before that,
sure,
so
sure, sure.
that we
Well,
missed. Just a couple of missed ones. So
it was very inspired by Indian music. Uh, Gorillaz is kind of known for taking its hit or miss um, in terms of like every album that comes out. It kind of always just seems like there's like one or two that are really good, and this one I would say instrumentally is really cool, exploring a lot of different sounds that you don't typically hear. But overall, I wasn't like super blown away by it. I guess there was only a couple of songs that I actually liked overall. And I would maybe even go so far as to say that there isn't really one or two like standout songs like there normally is in a Gorillaz album. Um, it it was kind of disappointing. Like I like them normally for how weird they are, but this time I think it was just like both like a mixture of trying to incorporate cultural elements that it hadn't ever tried to do before, and that it wasn't really, and it like on top of it being just normally a weird type of sound. It was just kind of an odd mixture of things. So I don't know. I guess what's your guys' takes? I wasn't blown away by it, but I also didn't hate some of the instrumental portions.
I didn't listen to this one a ton. Um, just because I didn't really jive with me. Like, not a lot of their stuff has really grabbed me in the past decade, really since Plastic Beach. But I like bits and pieces. Like you said, there's a couple tracks here and there where it's like, oh, I'm picking up what they're putting down. They're able to kind of come on something with a unique sound and make one of these slightly offbeat kind of alternative jams, right? Off
For
the beaten
sure. Yeah.
path, that is to say.
Yep.
Uh, this album didn't really do that for me, and I think it's just because the sonic palette is rooted in that like Indian folk music. It's not stuff that I naturally gravitate
Yeah.
towards a lot.
Yep.
And I really felt like there were some elements that didn't mix like super well. Like he'll have these like reggaeton rappers on like sitars with like a boom bap beat, and it's like it's cool that he did all of this. Does it all add up to something that I really like? Not really. So I didn't spend a ton of time with this one. I think I probably should go back to it at some point with fresh ears. A lot of people
Sure.
online really like this one more so than their last few albums. So I do want to go back and kind of give it the benefit of the doubt again. But first
That's
listen
actually
was
kind of
not
surprising.
first listen was not a like super exciting listen for me.
Yeah, I think part of the reason that I even picked this album to begin with was like primarily just because I hyped it up and talked about it so much prior that I kind of felt I had to. It was I wasn't super blown away by it either, but
I'm gonna jump in quick, not to try not to talk over you. So I'm, you know,
no, go for it.
so here's the thing. I haven't listened to a lot of Gorillaz. Like I know the classics, whatever, and it's just you think about like when you listen to it. When most people listen to it, I mean, how many years ago was that? Like a lot of these people have matured. His sound and like if you look at his top tracks, which were the ones that were the catchiest and easiest to listen to, like you have Orange County and The Moon Cave. Like they
Mhm.
still had that like nostalgic sound of the Gorillas, where it's like fun, peppy. He definitely kind of like plays that sad boy vibe. Like it's the lo-fi vocals with these oriental beats. I see the vision. It's fun. Um, I just think after listening to more of his discography, I feel like he's really just doing what he has been doing though.
Mhm.
Um, this really seems like it's in character. Like I don't feel like it was like, oh my goodness, this is a huge miss on his part. I think he's kind of exploring his own character development. I don't know enough of the lore of the different gorillas,
I
but a little.
don't either. I used to be a little bit more into it, but I couldn't tell you any part of it.
I'm sure there's a lot of narrative that are kind of based around those characters that I'm lacking, and I probably I wanted to kind of prep myself more on that, but I missed the opportunity and didn't take it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I think that this is like something that's kind of it's definitely like on par for him. I would just say it's a little off. Maybe it is like Jude said because it's like more of that Eastern style music that we're just not really used to and we didn't jive with it right away. But like I I just personally, well, I guess I just said the same thing. I'm just talking circles now. But
I don't even want to say like I don't like it because of that. Like I love Eastern music. There's been a lot of like psychedelic rock bands recently who are
sure.
like Eastern based, and like even traditional Eastern music is great. It's very expressive.
Yeah,
I just
I'm
don't know if
not
like
writing it
this
off as a
format.
whole. I'm not writing it off because of that. I'm just saying that's not like I don't listen to a ton of that music. And when there's stuff that really pops out to me, it's maybe some of the more like crossover stuff.
Yeah.
Some of the elements that like the Beatles were borrowing in the '60s, and
Hmm.
little like
Hmm.
little bits and pieces. I love the instruments, the sitar, but
And I will go back and say that style of like a reggae kind of rap tone that he has been using, that's not anything new at all for them. Like they've been doing that for
no,
years.
I meant like with like the yeah, like the Spanish speaking rappers. Reggaeton.
Oh,
That's the boom da boom ba boom ba that all the
no, I get what you're saying.
Spanish
The more,
rappers use.
yeah,
Yeah.
Hispanic beat, which I think was interesting because I don't think he's ever done that before in the past that I can hear or that I've heard.
If he's done it, it hasn't been frequently. He's been, I mean, of course, since the early 2000s, he's been collabing with like the kind of like the conscious abstract rappers,
Yeah.
Del the Funky Homo Sapien and De La Soul and stuff. So, um, yeah, and I think that kind of zooming out a little bit, like they're very aware that their sound is not always gonna hit. They're not like they present their music as kind of like an art piece that they're not even sure like it just kind of is what it is, and I respect it for that for sure. And they've also been talking lately about like what is retirement gonna look like, are we gonna end gorillas ever? And I in a recent interview they kind of threw out the idea, they're like, well, we've been talking about like handing off Gorillaz the band to a new generation, and like Gorillaz the band will continue on without us. And of course the themes of the album are like life and death, and kind of these moments of finality,
Yeah,
and new
that'd be interesting.
creation.
I
I
wasn't
think
aware of
I
that.
think that like in the lore of the Gorillaz project, like grander, like bigger picture, I think it's a cool album. Just the music was not something that I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just throw this on.
Sure. Yeah, there's really only like one song that I liked, and it was the Manifesto. That like I actually kind of listened to and just like kind of repeatedly listened to.
Yeah, I think that's where the
Like
symbolism
Orange
of it
Orange
goes.
County and Moon, was it Moonwalk, whatever
Moon
the other
Cave.
one, Moon
Yeah.
Cave, yeah. Those ones were like you were saying, Ethan, they were just kind of sad and just like not really type of music that I want to listen to right now, so it's
That,
not as good for me either. Didn't go on
you
my
know what?
playlist. The
That's so
Manifesto
valid.
did make it onto a car music playlist that I made, but outside of that, nothing else I really got a lot of repeat value from me.
Um yeah, so and then the other album you wanted to talk about was Levin Collie with
Oh,
LK99.
yeah.
Uh
Um, so I'm gonna be straightforward. I know even less about this guy. I haven't been following his music very much. I did read his bio on Spotify today,
That's everything you need to know.
and it tells me everything. He's from LA, and I don't know. He's just bringing. He's a soul guy, and I thought it was really, really well done. Honestly, kind of reminded me of, I guess like a more soul jazz oriented Leon Thomas. If that's like a that might be a stretch, but I'm in the same category. Um, yeah, I don't even really know what to talk about for this guy. I really liked him though, so I wanted your guys' takes on him. Pull up his stuff quick.
I don't have a lot of experience with him. The one project I have, or actually the one single, Sleepwalking, which came out in 2025, I listened to. Um, yeah, it's kind of like the, lazy R&B soul. Like it's not like anything groundbreaking, but at the same time, I mean, beautiful voice. Uh, the record itself was like, I'm not sure why it was recorded like half in Los Angeles in the Netherlands. I'm not really sure what his kind of like image or like what his career looks like outside this. I don't know if there's any like deep lore around him. Um, yeah,
It was
it was
just
groovy front and back.
Roundup.
I saw this thing pop up in like 30 different playlists. So like there obviously is a love for this kind of sound. I do love that like lo-fi um kind of like lazy R&B making its way back into mainstream pop. I feel like again, we talked about this last year, like this kind of sound died off when like SZA started crashing out. And now we got like, we have it coming out again and it's fresh and it's fun. Doesn't have to be anything incredible.
Ethan, where's your beautiful face?
I did not listen to this one yet, so I do not have anything to say. I didn't even look into this guy at all, so that
Yeah,
was
that's fair.
one of the couple that I missed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Think Miguel. I feel like the
Okay.
closest comparison was like a young modern day Miguel.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm sure I would like it. I'll definitely check it out. I just haven't had like a ton of time. You know how things go.
Same. There's a couple of them that I didn't get to, or either had like just one listen through. So
Yeah, and I think we'll probably have to skip over Asher's albums. It sounds like he will probably be out for the rest of the stream. So, um, yeah, let's go on to let's go back, way back to the 20th of February, because there's a couple of releases that came out of that day that I didn't find out until like I didn't find out about the one until like a couple weeks ago. I didn't find out about the other until like last week. So the first would be Tigray Funk by Sideshow. So I've spread the good word of Tigray Funk all across the Telegram servers and
All across album of the year.
to somewhat muted reactions, but we'll get to that. But this album was like, it kind of just came to me at a perfect time where I was feeling a little just underwhelmed with some of the music that was coming out so far, and between some album deliveries that fell short, some things that maybe had a lot of potential that didn't really come through, more album delays and stuff like that, And then I looked at this album because Pitchfork had like a pretty positive review of it, and I'm like extremely dubious. I turned this thing on, and the second track is what is it called? Kill from the Heart. And it's got that goofy beat with like just the random percussion. And he's like rapping about like super tough like gang shit over it. I was just like, this is hilarious, this is amazing. I'm instantly adding this track. But, Pitchfork crazy for giving this an 84 or whatever. Then later I just threw on the track. I was driving back from Stevens Point. I just threw on the track. And the next song played, and I'm like, this song's kind of weird and crazy and wacky. And I just kept on listening. I've like rarely in recent memory been like so drawn in by, like, so electrified by a first listening experience, because it's doing all this crazy shit, but it has these narratives woven through it. And because of the short track lengths and the kind of concise parts he has the album laid into, it's just like a super wild ride for that first listen, especially. But I really fell in love with this album through some of the like more kind of introspective tracks, the ones with the more toned down, slightly odd but more traditional kind of drumless or cloud rap sound. Um and okay, yeah, anyway, what do you guys think?
Well, so okay. I've listened through it passively, and I feel like I've not done a good job like sitting down. I think after a few listens, like Kill from the Heart off the bat, I remember you said this. It is goofy, but like it's kind of the hardest thing I've ever heard. Just like the boing sounds, and I'm not sure what else to call them. But so again, I kind of like was trying to dig into it. So Tigray Funk, um, this album, I guess like his creative catalyst for this was the end of the Tigray War in Ethiopia, which was like a conflict between the Ethiopian federal government and the People Liberation Front. And so like he has like some references to liberation, like fighting freedom and like uh, speaking your voice out. So I guess it's tied into the music, and now I want to listen to it again because there seems to be like a really like interesting political analysis of this conflict. I'm not sure if he has any connection to it.
Well, he was born in Tigray, Ethiopia. Is it?
Okay, that would
I
make a
would
lot of sense.
assume.
That would make more sense.
But he was raised in the DMZ. But
Yeah, I mean, he does cover a lot of like pretty heavy concepts, and yeah, it contrasts the sound quite a bit in some moments. But I again, I need to listen through more. I do remember there was just a lot of lyrical elements that did strike me like, okay, wait, hold up, what am I listening? Like I'm hearing this beat, but I'm hearing him just diving into like a lot of like pretty grimy dialogue, and like it was almost too much to listen to. And every time I put it on, I was doing something else. I'm like, okay, hold up, I actually like need to find time to listen to it. So apologies on my end. I know I kind of like I feel like it could be it could be an incredible like 9 out of 10 album if I put the work in. So
Yeah.
Really?
It's
I mean,
not as. Yeah, go ahead, Darren.
not to be the certified hater here, but I'm okay. Maybe I need to listen to it more as well. There were elements of it that I do really like. I will say that there is like a large range of just unique sounds that I don't hear a lot of other musicians using or even trying to use. The thing that gets me about it is even if it's intentional, the like offbeat, how like the drums don't really sound like they match up with the vocals pisses me off.
That's
It
just a
just like
skill
I just
issue,
like
bro. You
nah, dude,
you
it's
gotta
just annoying as
understand
hell.
that it feels broken, and that's part of the intentionality of it. But also, there's a mathematical scheme. Like it actually does fit onto a grid. You're just not thinking in the right grid. You got to
Oh
expand your
yeah, you're right.
mind.
You're right. I forgot to use the Pythagorean theorem to listen to fucking music. Like
bro,
it's just
change your
it's a
grid, bro.
little much
Serious.
for me, man.
Change your fucking grid, man. I don't know what to
Oh
say.
my god, that was literally the first thing you were supposed to do. Oh, it's so embarrassing.
I'm sorry.
Dude, that's my new thing. Just someone like if it's that's not a skill issue, it's a grid issue.
All right, the other one I wanted to talk about is Mania. Mike Daly White. I just found this one online, an album of the year. I think that he's kind of big on social media, TikTok, Instagram, that kind of stuff. So a lot of people have found him through that. He's kind of a combination of a lot of things. He's doing a bunch of different stuff on this album, but it's all kind of rooted in this very nostalgic feeling, kind of 80s, maybe 90s R&B, but also like 80s pop kind of centric. Uh, and
I'm so sorry. Can
really,
you,
really
can you say what
interesting
album you're talking about
production
again?
choices.
It's
Uh,
the Mania one.
Mania by Mike Daly White. So
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes.
yeah, it was kind of hard for me to wrap my head around like the first couple times I listened to it. There's like a certain, I hate to use this word, but there's just like a certain je ne sais quoi about it that makes it just a little bit more than nostalgia bait, makes it a little bit more than just like a very standard or safe kind of pop soul album. Uh it's super diverse. It's insanely catchy. Like as a pop album, this
Yeah.
shit slaps. And just like this very big kind of epically produced and mixed, kind of harkening back to maybe like a Michael Jackson kind of like
Mm-hmm.
it's produced like it is the hottest shit ever, kind of, it knows what it is. And it's really funny to hear that from like an indie alternative kind of like rising internet star, but he pulls it off because the songs slap.
Yeah, dude. When Jude sent me this, and I listened to like one or two songs, and I thought he was like messing with me. He's like, "Dude, you gotta check this out. This is the greatest thing ever." And I was like, I listened to it. I'm like, okay, like he's just memeing right now. Like he's like, it's just a joke. Um, I started listening to him more. I'm listening to his voice so much, and like I kind of recognize that sound. Like I'm not sure if it's the mixing or like his vocal aptitude or his skill. Like he just sounds like a very like generic, like unexperienced artist. But like the the production around it is insane. So I remember I messaged Jude. I'm like, I think this guy accidentally made like the best album of the year. Like I don't think he like, meant to like do this. But like what you're saying, like with Michael Jackson, Prince, or whatever, like that
Yeah.
like that late '80s sound, like it has the hits, it has the
Yeah.
pops, like the horns, and like it's funky, it's groovy, and then like it kind of like, I don't know, the first, I don't know, maybe like 6 songs like go really hard, and then you have All Along, which like kind of like really deviates from the original sound, and I
Yeah,
I kind of lost
it
there a
kind
bit.
of
It was like
sounds
almost like
like.
a Weekend ripoff.
Oh, I was gonna say it sounds a lot like the Cure, like early
Eh,
Cure, early '80s Cure,
Okay, sure.
or kind of one of these more like shoegazy kind of.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, sure.
And I agree.
Maybe
I
those are my
agree. It's not
inspiration.
my favorite track on the album for sure. I think it adds kind of like an extra element of mystery to his like character, to like what is this album even, So I like it
Sounds
for
like the
that.
sassy. He's the most like zesty, rambunctious like diva out there. Like, and
I
like
mean,
Yeah,
this
yeah, he
album
gives that
cover is
vibe.
sick. This album cover is so awesome.
the flowy white button up in like the rain in the ocean on the beach.
Oh yeah, yeah. That gives
This
80s
one's
like
this one's
Prince
odd.
vibes.
So good.
Oh yeah,
Great,
like
Yeah,
actually. I didn't
there's
get
it's
some
it
heat
much.
equal
trio.
parts. It's equal parts. Like noticeably normal and also like strangely not normal.
Well,
Like if that makes any
it's
sense. Like it's a collection of songs that should
Well,
be incredibly fundamental and like a pretty standard kind of pop album, alternative pop album, but there's something about it that just I can't stop listening to it, dude.
dude,
I really like
what is
Voodoo.
it? Voodoo,
Yeah.
Endless Dark at Sunrise is unnecessarily just like the heaviest, like raw
Yes,
song.
dude.
I love
I
his tag, aspiring peacemaker.
I really like yeah.
Is that what he's
What
got
even
on
is
his like
that? Uh
tiring?
yeah, I like that on to the next one.
Yeah, yep.
Oh god. And then his
Next one. And it's just got that really fat synth bass line. Like, dude, the synth bass lines on this are crazy. Like,
Mm,
genuinely, that keyboardist just went way too hard.
yeah, and then like you have, and again, his vocals, like it's just like he doesn't have like a set sound. Like 1 second he sounds like Thundercat, then he sounds like he's trying to like emulate Michael Jackson, then it's like Prince, and
And then
then
you're
yeah,
like,
then
oh my gosh, is he like doing a Nate Dogg impression right now?
I will say that this one, aside from the James Blake one that we're talking about tonight as well, this is probably my favorite album from this month's picks.
that's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Sounded
Yeah,
based.
it's definitely up there for me as well. Okay.
I think we had some amazing soul from just this month in general.
We
Yeah,
had a lot of
Like
let's
yeah.
soul pop kind of odd
let's talk
sounds.
about okay. Let's talk about trying times.
Hmm. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
James
Okay.
Blake. That's not
Yummy,
the
yummy.
correct intro for James Blake. James Blake.
It's James Blake.
Yes. Give him that Gophers Club.
James
Let's start
James
with some
Blake.
walkout music, maybe.
James Blake. I don't know how to even describe. He's
That was
kind of
his.
like if Charlie Puth and like
Stop.
got his shit together.
Stop. You just start
Like
over.
like he's like if Mike Dean and Jacob Collier and Charlie Puth got in a room together and were like, hey, let's actually like do something good for once in our lives. Okay, and then you got so James Blake. James Blake is like kind of like put his presence out in the hip hop community as like he's kind of like the honorary white boy who just is putting out like the melancholy like astral plane synth wave pop music, but like it's rooted in EDM. It's ambient, but like it has these hard hitting moments.
Sure.
He
So
does
like
the
when I
outro on "Stop Trying to Be God." That song
ex-
is insanely good.
exactly, I've kind of had a hard time with a lot of his newer stuff. So like, okay, you have the self-titled album, James Blake, Overgrown, Assume Form, Friends That Break Your Heart, all great tracks. And like you can tell he's really just like trying to explore his sound, like he's a master of his craft. Then you got Playing Robots into Heaven, and that was extremely experimental. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know like what he's going to do from here. And then you have Trying Times, and like his rollout for this was very organic. He did a lot of like slow releases. Like he was active on forums, on his Reddit forums. He did some pre-releases of vinyls, and there was a lot of like hype in the community around him. But like, I'm not sure how many James Blake fans you know of in general. But um,
Certainly more in the UK, I would imagine.
exactly. And what I think what he was doing here, like the theme itself, again, we've talked about this in so many streams where like I feel like themes in these experimental ambient albums, especially like they deal with like the balance of humanity, who you are, like trying to like become a good person, knowing what the universe has for you, trying to balance love and your image and who you are, whatever. And I think what he does in this album though does like wrap that theme very well. Like you have blackout music, which starts off like it's like this pulsating like synth sound that kind of like brings the energy up, and like he just slowly pulses throughout the album. Then you have like Death of Love, which is hard hitting as well. um and so you have like more tender moments like Rest of Your Life and whatnot. But um yeah, I have just nonstop been listening to this album, and I feel like I can't get enough out of it. I feel like there's a lot a lot of work that could go into just kind of disassembling all of it. His use of synth, though, I think he is really a master at production and his craft. I'm really excited again
Yeah.
that we got a good album.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna agree with you for a lot of that. He's beautiful. This is that you're gonna maybe hate this take real quick, but the Trying Times one, that specific song, almost. Oh, maybe this is wrong. It is wrong as I think about it more. I'm listening to the song in my head at this, or on Spotify as well. Uh, I don't know. In my head, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it simultaneously. No, this is it's just interesting because it's kind of, it reminds me of a lot of things that it's like not at all like, which is kind of weird. Like I want to say that he sounds like what Joji wants to be.
It's a totally fair thing to say.
That's
I mean,
that's a great opinion, actually. I agree.
and and James Blake, I think, is also one of those producers that he might have his fingers in more stuff than you even realize.
He
Like,
does. I was actually just looking at through
and a
his,
lot of probably influence, and also, kind of, I'm sure a lot of people are inspired by or reference his material to some extent, especially in the
collaborator
UK.
for
Um,
Beyonce, Frank
I think this
Ocean,
is a really pretty
Rosalia,
album.
Kendrick,
I
Travis Scott.
James Blake can be just like just a little bit intangible for me at times. Uh,
That's the whole. Yeah, That's the whole thing. You're never really supposed to grasp the Blake.
Tony, don't grasp the Blake.
Don't grasp Blake.
Whatever you do, bro. No, some of these tracks. I mean, my daughter Samantha really liked this album, so she was bopping to the whole thing. So I feel like that's
He's
all I really need to say.
he's done production work for like
People.
uh yeah, well, yeah, obviously, again, like a lot of the hip hop, and I think he has a lot of like influence into like you have someone like Mike Dean who like he creates the like hype synth sounds, are like dark, and they're very you know epic sounding, and cinematic almost. And I think he kind of plays the other side of like the more emotional, sensitive, like ambient sound. And you say Joji, that's very much his sound. I think obviously someone like James Blake does a lot better. And a lot of the
Yeah.
It's taking
critiques
that
on the
like
album, a lot of the
it's
critiques on the album were around the fact that you said it, Jude, like it feels intangible. Like it feels like he never comes down. And like that's like the whole thing. Like you look at his album cover, and I think that like does a great job. It's one of my favorite album covers of
well,
all
and
time.
that was yeah, and that's less of a critique coming from me and more of just like a the traction just wasn't quite there for me. You know, I hate to use this term, but James Blake can be at times a little bit edgeless. Um, and that okay. All that being said,
That's
a
not
couple of
really
these.
the type.
He was
Sorry,
edging the whole
continue.
time, bro. He was edging the whole time.
That's, I mean, I don't think edgy's
This
really
is
his
this
go-to
is
goal
more of
here,
like
though.
a it's not for me. If I
Sure.
need to
Okay.
sit down and
Okay.
give this album more time before I slap a score on it. However, in my mind, this is like a great album. This is like an 8 out of 10 or better for sure. I really don't have anything negative to say about this album, other than Kanye should have been on Through the High Wire. Kanye, why don't you finish your damn
Well,
verse?
I think part of that song was talking about there's a criticism of his friendship and work that he's done with Kanye and like kind of like what image and fame can do and how it can disintegrate a person. So it would have ruined the song if Kanye was on there for sake of narrative.
Well, it would have ruined it, or would have like it's like Girl So Confusing with Lord, you know? Like if you nail that like genuine like rediscovery of like kinship, it could have been amazing. It
See,
could have
here's the
been
thing:
amazing.
if Kanye featured on it, I feel like Kanye would somehow, even after being explained to what the song was about, would still not understand what it is, what it's
Oh,
about.
he would understand. He just wouldn't care, baby. He's
That's true.
we're gonna talk about Kanye in a
Actually, let's
couple
just talk
beats
about
here.
College Dropout for the rest of the stream.
Yeah, you guys are college dropout haters. I don't know if I want to talk about that
Excuse,
album with you guys.
excuse me? What are you talking about? That's like that's my favorite Kanye album, bro.
Whatever. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about Underscore's album, third album.
Yes.
You. It's been a long time coming. The singles have been drip fed to us over the last like
I
at
actually
least
didn't listen
half a
to any
year.
of them up until the album came out.
This album is kind of everything I expected it to be, which is good because I expected it to be very, very good. It it wasn't trying to be anything like super crazy. So Underscore's her first album, Fishmonger, is a lot more bedroomy, kind of self-contained. It's doing some of the like break-ins, you know, drops and
Hmm.
stuff, but it's a lot more timid. And then you have Wall
I actually
Socket,
like it
which is
because
this
of that.
like heavily conceptual album. She's tapping into a bunch of different things. It's incredibly busy and grating and chaotic, but it's really respectable for its level of ambition. And I think that a lot of the storytelling and kind of emotional moments that it reaches are really really cool. It's just overall as an album maybe a little bit more inconsistent. And then you have You, which is kind of by all measures her like safest album, where it's only 9 tracks long. It's kind of building off of like tried and true pop formulas and kind of
Sure.
EDM drops. Uh but she's so good at producing that it's just like liquid gold when you're listening to it. Like it hits the ears so nice. Songs like The Peace are just like a marvel to listen to. And I think it's like her most skillful album to date.
I will, yeah, I will not disagree with you. I feel like I have like a very on and off again relationship with underscores. So when you guys said that she dropped an album, I I mean, this might just be a me problem because this happens a lot where I'm just like, okay, I don't care about this project. Like Fishmonger, I really enjoyed moments here and there. I don't love hyperpop a whole lot, and that's kind of what I thought it was going
Same.
to be until I listened to it. And yeah, it I enjoyed it for the exact reason why I know why I still enjoy break-ins. Like it is still in that vein, but like it's timid. It's exploring these like technical skills in terms of the production itself, but like it gives itself room to breathe for the narrative. Like, um, oh, which one was it? I was literally just listening to this. Is it music? No, it's not music. I am so all over the place. Oh, I think it's yeah, the piece. Yeah. So I get to the piece, and that's when like I made the connection of like, or the realization, like, okay, like she's not just this hype artist who's like trying to put out the most like eccentric, heavy hitting, like overly caffeinated project. Like the production itself, I instantly thought of Hide and Seek, which is like the classic like vocoder
Yes.
song.
Oh, I said
And
that when I was listening. Yeah, when I was listening to it on the car with my dad, I'm like, this is very Imogene Heap.
Imogen,
Yeah.
yeah. And so that it was just, oh my goodness, like the syncopation in the vocoding like vocals was so rhythmic and like there was like a lot of like groove to it, and then just having like those sharp vocals just like piercing through these layers where like you almost can't distinguish it, and like it forces you to like really like lock in and like listen to what she's saying. That's when I was like, okay, hold up. I recontextualized the entire view opinion I have of the album and even like her as an artist. Also, you could really hear in this project how much her voice has changed
Yeah.
too. Um,
I mean, you
like
could
So
have
this,
definitely in the last album as well. But yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel like
her
she's
voice
finally
is
settled into
her
like,
well,
or
it's definitely very clean. I think that's partly just the production choices
what
as well,
the
but yeah, it's
fuck?
very, very clean. Uh yeah, I think she has a great voice.
I
So,
didn't realize she was in an Oaklu song.
Oaklu,
yeah.
who's that? Who's Oaklu? What?
Clue,
Sorry,
Clue,
okay, Lou only
Ocarina of
here.
Time. No, this is the Harvest guy. I didn't realize she was
But
on that one.
Love Field was another track that like the skipping synth that just kind of like percussive synth that just like plays in the background and just it sets the scene of like a rock skipping over a lake or something like that where it just it's hypnotizing, it draws you in, and that's what I do love about this genre, even though I don't listen to it a lot, is like it's like often more than just like musical elements. It's creating these scenes, it's creating these kind of
Sure.
like images. You're almost transported to this different land as you're listening to it, and
Well,
it's a very
yeah,
immersive experience.
like some of my favorite instrumental electronic artists like Aphex Twin or Clark, like they have an amazing ability to convey an emotional story just through their instrumental pieces. I mean, as any like great composer would. So when you have like a very electronic heavy album that is kind of conveying these emotions uh through these rich chords and explosive drops, and then you also have this very well thought out and presented lyrical narrative on top of that. I feel like that's pretty rare. Like in the Nina Jirachi album last year, I thought it was an amazing album, and I love her genuity and kind of playfulness on the album. She's not an A-list lyricist though. I mean, she's
Mm.
you know she's a DJ. She's a EDM producer, who put together some very, very fun vocal tracks. But what she was trying to do with I Love My Computer was kind of inherently different than what April is doing on You. So, and
Yep.
it's just a more satisfying, enriching album to me, and one of the best in that genre in recent memory for sure.
Yeah, and having that diversity in her skill set where like she can, you know, lead with her lyrics, and like ingenuity is a great word to use. But like you have like a song like Music where it still has like those dubstep, stylistic choices kind of like thrown in there. You have like the wobble and bass in there, but like she still like she pulls it back. She doesn't let it take over the song. I feel like it can be really easy in this genre to just kind of let the music run away from you a bit, and she had reins over it the whole time.
Yeah, it's very,
Yeah, I'd
very.
agree with you there. I haven't personally listened to a lot of underscores prior to this album. And I'm not usually a fan of hyperpop or this kind of in your face, super caffeinated genre either. Uh, but I will say that I actually did really enjoy this, even if it doesn't get added to like any of my playlists. This is something that I could definitely like see jamming to, like as like Jude. I'm sure you're gonna throw this on at my place a lot, and I'll just be like, okay, this isn't. I don't care. This is good.
It'd be
Like
great, like
there's
if we're ever like, I don't know, bar hopping or something. Throw that in the car.
sure. Yeah, no,
Or when we're
this is good.
alone, when
It's
I'm
good
with
hype
you, I feel
music.
the music.
Yeah, yeah, we could listen to Love Field.
Exactly. I just want to keep
Yeah,
the peace with you, Darren. Okay, we got one more album because I think we're gonna skip over Asher's and Madeline's because they
sure.
are not here. But there's one elephant in the room, which is
Jesus.
Kanye West.
And ye,
Anyways,
Yay. Does he go
Kanye,
by Yay now? Does everybody call him
Kanye
Yay,
West.
or do people still call him Kanye West? I call him
I
Kanye
think that
West. I think it sounds cooler. Yay? What am I supposed to do with that?
I don't
Anyway,
know why I even did that.
he dropped Bully finally. Uh I want to say a good 9 months at least after it was supposed to come. It was supposed to come out in 2024, 2025. I don't even know. It's been a long
it's
time.
it's
Uh,
Kanye amnesia. You don't know anymore.
it is a lot better than Vultures. It is not even. It's not even funny how much better than Vultures it is. So I want to get that out of the way right off the whip. Uh, it is heavily mixed. It is probably one of Kanye's most inconsistent albums. Like in terms of the quality between tracks. Like some of the songs are like really, really cleanly produced. His vocals sound great. Like he's singing his heart out. There's actually like a full kind of instrumentation. And some of the tracks are like fuzzy AI vocals over like an AI isolated drum track or instrument track, whatever. Some of the AI vocal tracks I still kind of like, which I feel bad saying, but it's a weird album. It's very mixed, but it has some moments where it's like the Kanye that I know, he's still alive. He's in there somewhere, and he's coming back. Hopefully. Uh, what did you think, Ethan?
Okay, so I feel like I have about 6 more months to, explore this album.
That's what I'm thinking too. I'm gonna need some
Uh,
time.
it was okay. So I feel like what I wasn't expecting was songs like, I mean, I was expecting them because I've I've heard some of them like in partial completion. But like you have All the Love, Bully, where it's like, it's kind of nice to have Kanye come back with like these very like catchy, repetitive choruses that like are just sensible. They're fun. Um, okay, we're just gonna push the whole concept of mixing aside because I feel like Kanye just Kanye's lost that.
The
I don't really
mixing
know
is
if
very
like
no. I think some of the
not
tracks
bad.
are
It's not bad.
brilliantly mixed. Some of the new tracks he cooked up, the new tracks he cooked up, actually, and this is the thing, I never write off Kanye's mixing because yes, sometimes it is not great, but sometimes he does things that are kind of subversive, and then like the whole sound of mixing changes over the next 2 years around what he's like on Whole Lot of Red. Whole Lot of Red, I thought sounded like shit when it came out, and then everything sounded like it in 2 years. And Kanye executive produced that.
Is predicting AI in all music. What? Okay, you know what? For one
No,
time, for
okay.
once, he's behind the curve.
I think
I'm
that some of the stuff is AI. Some of the stuff that he released earlier on was definitely AI. Some of the newer stuff is definitely not. And I kind of even okay, like I said, I feel bad saying this, but I kind of like the lo-fi sound of some of the tracks in the back half. Like, obviously,
I
could have
don't
been mixed
disagree.
better, but I feel like it kind of adds an interesting dimension to the album, and that's what I love about it. I love a Kanye album that I can delve into and just like explore and be like weirded out and delighted by, you know. Uh, and Bully definitely succeeds on that front.
My criticism with the use of AI vocals is the fact that, hear me out, he didn't use more of it in some spots. Where like
Or that he
there's
didn't use
moments
better AI vocals out there. He could have gotten better AI vocals than that.
like there's moments where the samples are getting repetitive, and you know that he can splice them up and he can twist them up and make some magic, but he just kind of like seemed very, we'll say, minimalistic to be conservative. Like I feel
Yeah.
like he could have maybe expanded like on
Well,
like
and
some
this
following verses or choruses.
people aren't hating on this album as much as they were on Jesus is King, and they were hating on Jesus is King for being minimalistic and too stripped down. But Jesus is King works, I think, because it is so exposed. And I feel like Kanye doesn't have to always go maximalist. I feel like he can do both, and I appreciate both. I'm a true Kanye appreciator. I'm a real Kanye fan.
Well, I feel like, yeah, he wants to be able to like sit back in his mix and his song, and like he's always trying to say something. If we know one thing about Kanye is he, he's really trying to say something, for better or for
He's
Yeah.
worse,
always trying to say something.
And some of the
and he
things he
wants you to
says are
listen to
really
him.
nice. I like on Mama's Favorite or whatever. He's like okay, let me pull it up. For my wife I get a wedding ring. And then he's like on my life, I gave up everything. And okay, here's the thing. He's not doing anything like revolutionary with his lyrics. He's not even really delving into anything that hyper specific or personal that I feel like, if he is able to kind of deconstruct his legacy and his music over the last 5-10 years, he could really make something truly like beautiful and introspective. But on that level, but he still has like such an amazing ability to convey emotion with his vocals and lyrics, whatever resources he's working with. He doesn't have the same vocal chops that he used to, but he's still able to deliver these lines with like so much conviction that they're genuinely moving. uh and yeah, especially on Mama's Favorite and All the Love and Beauty and the Beast and I Can't Wait. There's just like so many like amazing moments on this.
And who knew that CeeLo Green would come out with the most epic outro of a song? The Bully outro was so clean. Like, I'm not sure what they were doing on CeeLo's vocals.
Yeah, it sounded weird, but like cool weird.
Yeah, and I agree with what you're saying. Where like he does come in with, I don't think anyone questions Kanye with, being driven by conviction. I feel like that might be his. But like, I think he's once again kind of like, as always, he's very like, he likes to dig in and analyze himself, whether or not it's like he's recognizing his faults, but he does sound like someone who really, I'm not even sure if help is what he wants, but like he's just kind of screaming from the rafters, like, I have something to say, like, please, like, my head's full of voices. I'm seeing something that you're not seeing. Wait, what? I'm looking at Bully here. They got mad at me for living out my fantasies. All the castles in the sky come down, crashing every time I speak my mind. All the people swear my ego needs a repo, but I want to let go, in denial of it all. Baby, tell me what it costs you to tell the truth. Like, at the end of the day, like virtuistic. Like he just will, go to his grave with his convictions, and you can only appreciate that.
But I love his lyricism on this album too because it's significantly more restrained. That was the problem with Vultures and even in moments on like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and Yeezus, of course, where like he does go too far. His delusions do get too dark and like he loses the average listener. And in little bits it's kind of dramatic and uh can be used effectively in an album, but it's nice to hear a Kanye for the first time in a while, and maybe this is just the medication, but he feels a little more tempered. He feels a little bit more
Yeah.
relaxed maybe, and you know maybe kind of coming down from that whatever that darkness was in that period of his life. Uh, Cautiously optimistically, obviously, Kanye's about as predictable as Nvidia stocks. I don't know. I don't know enough about stocks, but um, I
Yeah.
did not like the
I
Travis.
Honestly, it's another one that I want to
it's
throw
the
on the list of like shit that I just didn't get to as much. I did listen to it once through, but I don't think I was giving it full attention for like 95% of it. So
So far, my verdict on the album is it's good. It has great moments. I'll leave it at that.
noted.
Like, I don't. I mean, it definitely has bad moments as well. So, so
it's bad moments that we'll come to appreciate in about 5 years. Be like, wow, this was the best
yeah,
sound we've
maybe,
ever
dude. Maybe
had.
This a Must is actually like the
This was
greatest
trend
song
setting.
ever
We just
made.
didn't recognize it yet.
Dude, maybe Sisters and Brothers needed more Bit Crusher.
You didn't like this must. I feel like that was the most generic song on the
Oh,
project.
100%. I mean, I like it. But yeah, it's not exactly do it. It's definitely not a highlight of the album.
It's just, yeah,
I
the
threw on
crushed
Sisters and
808.
The thing
Brothers,
is
and
this
holy
like
shit, yeah, there's a little
this
bit of
album does get
Big
like a
Crusher on
Crunch.
there.
it does get like a 30% like bias increase just because it's Kanye and it's not bad, you know?
Well, that's what Gorillas did to me though, and look what happened there.
We'll see.
I,
I maybe I will sour on this album significantly, but so far I am really liking it.
Dude, it will never be promotion off of Vultures 2.
the original version. Or wait, no, I'm thinking of River. The original version.
She
of
said
River.
she leaving her boyfriend.
That's
She
the other
wanna
thing,
meet me at the
is-
Ritz-Carlton.
Is he gonna change this album like 50 times? Because if he does, I don't like it anymore. Like just leave it be, bro. We know it's not finished. Who cares? Just make another album.
Yeah, the indecisiveness of Kanye kind of takes away from what you would expect from a Kanye. Where like you just want him to be like, "This is my album. This is the best thing ever."
I feel like it really does kill his rollouts. I feel like he could be the biggest artist ever still if he just didn't fuck up a rollout for once.
I want to know who's.
I guess I haven't
producing
been
for
paying
him, but-
attention to Kanye. Has he been like just consistently late with everything? Like what's
Yeah.
Well, he's been doing
Yeah, he
that for
was
the
supposed
last
to
10
come
years.
out and then he released Jesus. I mean, he's been doing that since before Life Pablo. And I mean, Good Ass
Life of
Job was
Pablo
supposed to
was
come out in
notable.
Good Ass Job was the first one. That was supposed to come out in like 2008, 2009.
Life of Pablo is
Yeah,
probably one of the the first notable
took like
rollout.
3 years to fully come out or something, and it was like part of it was released on Tidal for a while, and then he like changed it, and yeah, it was a
But
mess.
it's saying it's one of the best albums of all time.
Yeah, now it's me. I mean, leave it be, Kanye. Stop. You did it. Okay, just don't touch it anymore.
Life of Pablo just disappears off of Spotify.
Oh, dude, he would do some shit like that if he actually had the rights to do it.
Yeah, I think he's just maybe not as in control as.
Hey, maybe he could go back and secretly fix all the mixes on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
I
would
want
be
Kanye to
cool.
cover More Life. That's all I want in life.
More Life 2 with Kanye. It's just Kanye and Drake solo, the solo duo album.
No, Drake's not on it. It's just Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign covering More Life.
Drake's
solo?
dad is on the album cover, and that's it. That's his only involvement.
Solo duet with Drake and Kanye.
And Yeba does an interlude.
I need to feed these guys.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
Yebo was another project that came out this year that was that might have been the most disappointing album of the year.
Well,
It was actually awful. Anyways,
yeah. Yeah, I didn't really listen to that one. I didn't really get it, so I kind of just didn't really listen to it. To be honest,
nothing to get.
I feel so bad like skipping over stuff, but like I have to. I don't have the time to listen to literally everything.
Don't.
That's what you guys are for. You can represent the music that I have skipped over, like a silly Billy. All right. I think I could call it there.